I want to make a few comments about Hurricane Sandy, prepping, and survivalism. Well, first off, I want to actually preface this with, as bad as it was in New York and New Jersey area, especially, if there was a tsunami that hit that area like it hit Japan, it would have been like totally catastrophic beyond belief. It's like when we looked at those aerial photographs and different cameras on the ground and what happened in Japan with that tsunami. It's like you're looking back on your easy chair on your computer at various photos, but you're not really grasping what's going on exactly because you're not living through it. But the one problem is if that happened over New York, New Jersey, it would have been over with. The problem in Japan was actually thousands of times more severe. And I'm going to kind of steer this video to something that we need to prepare. We do need to prepare. A lot of people think it's a joke. There's a lot of comedians out there that think things are a joke. And when people are preparing for something or survivalism or whatever, but there's always something that can possibly come up, and it's not something you should dwell on because having a negative attitude and always dwelling upon bad things is not good for your mind. I can tell you that right now. It's not good for that positive outlook that you want to keep up. But you need to do solid concrete things to actually prepare. And a lot of people will not do it because they're very entertainment focused. Now, for instance, I was in the construction industry for both residential and commercial and other big high-rise construction and everything. As an accountant and finance person, but mainly leading the charge in that little field. But as far as a lot of the types of buildings and things that went on, there is very much, even not just by the builders, but also by the consumers, to go entertainment first and not worry about essentials as much second. In other words, the builders I worked for actually they were pretty good. They weren't bad because their stuff actually survived very well during the hurricanes that went through Florida. Nothing like fell down. Nothing got severely damaged. Some of the other builders, the whole roofs blew off. But the guys I worked for actually were pretty good. But it always could have been better. It always could have been better. But even given to, the problem really is it's not them. It's really the consumer. And this is really what the problem is across the board with any kind of preparation or survivalism, whatever you want to call it. The average person just keeps it out of their head and they're all into entertainment. It's not the right thing to do. So like like for instance, this house here, like me, if I had this house and it was on the ocean, years before I would have been piling all kinds of concrete around the foundation. It probably would have survived no problem. People would have thinking, what are you nuts for doing that? We never had a hurricane here for 20 years. I would have been hearing this bullshit because, how often do you need that? Well, you got insurance. Fuck them. That's all I got to say. God, they're bad. But, that's the 99 point something percent. And those are the people that aren't into silver and gold. But I also want to point out, even like this may be related. I do a lot of silver and gold videos, but if you had silver and gold in this situation, it really ain't going to do you much good. It ain't going to do you much good. You need food, water, generators for electricity, power tools, that type of stuff. You need lumber, nails, shingles, pressure treated wood. You need everything. You need like stuff to detox stuff like bleach, calcium hypochlorite, which is like the pool shock to get rid of mold, purify things. You need all these type of things. And it's not that much money to keep them on hand. But I want to point out, the average consumer, like say for instance, they're picking out a house, and they have a thing there like option, 50-year architectural shingles, 50-year, right? Oh no, we don't want that. Even though they're not much money because you got to, the most of the cost of the roof is the labor. It's not really the shingles themselves. To do that upgrade is not much. No, we don't want that. Do you want extra insulation? Even though the insulation in the house is good, but that'll save you fuel and electricity for air conditioning and heat in the winter. Oh no, we don't want that. Entertainment center? Oh yeah. That's typical. So what the hell? I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of the problem is the average person. Now, in situations like this, No way in hell can you depend upon the cops and the firefighters to freaking bail you out of it. You have to be prepared. I notice a lot of people probably bitching about this because there's nothing you could do right now about it because they just got to wait. And they're like, waiting for emergency response. Well, emergency response isn't going to be able to handle it. So, I'm telling you this armchair, but I do this stuff. I have, 2 generators. I have plenty of fuel. I have plenty of food to last me a year. Plenty of water. I have a well. I can actually, besides the water I have, that's purified and has certain things in it to keep it from getting, stagnated. I also have the well that I can use a generator on and pull water out of it. I have extra shingles. I have concrete. I have building materials, pressure treated wood, hurricane shutters. Maybe they ain't enough, but I got stuff. Tools, power tools, chainsaws. If you got trees knocked down, or you got electric chainsaws with inverters that I can use that. I have gas chainsaws, big giant freaking 24-inch chainsaw, all kinds of stuff. And, it may not be enough, but I did prepare. But, the real problem sometimes is, I'm going to say a lot of it is women sometimes, too. They will bitch once it happens, once the emergency happens. But if you're the person buying this shit, they'll kill you. They'll kill you. You don't need it. What are you doing that for? They'll kill you. And, I'm going to tell you right now, do what the hell you want, but it should be ignored. I'm going to say something else. This is sexist, but I don't give a... Well, it's not sexist. It's a freaking truth. It's the truth. This is the way things were for thousands of years, and all of a sudden they started changing in the last 20 years. Now, this is actually a fake picture of a firefighter, shown in her cute outfit. But, I know the actual firefighters wear their standard uniforms. But what I'm saying is, women in these types of emergency professions, firefighting and police, don't belong in them, period. This changed in the last 20-something years or whatever the hell it was. They don't belong in it, period. I'm going to say that. They don't have the physical strength, and sometimes they lower the requirements and all this kind of crap. Well, maybe some of the males don't have the physical strength, but you know what? If they are in those type of professions, they need to be out of those professions if they don't. If they can't lift a person up to bring them out of a shelter, an area that's falling apart, they don't belong in that profession, period. So, a lot of times the women do not meet up to standards, and no matter what they say, because this is a big political bunch of bullshit. And, when it comes down to an emergency, this isn't what you need, except for fun. I'll put it that way, sexist way. But, that's really what the hell it is. It's a bunch of BS. That is actually wrecking the emergency response right there, that you have women in these professions. You know what? You can argue with me, throw mud at me for this, saying this. I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I'm not doing this because I'm winning any points with anybody or because I'm getting paid to do this, really, per se. It's something that's an absolute accurate fact. Women do not belong in these emergency professions. So if you're going to rely upon emergency professions to save your ass in a catastrophic emergency, you better have well-trained males that are physically fit and know what the hell they're doing. So, but you know what? Do not rely on that. Rely on yourself, your own preparations that you made. That's why they call it prepping. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, I think the world's going to cave in tomorrow, and you're running around with a green tree suit, camouflage and crap, like hunkered down in your bunker. It's a bunch of bullshit. But you need to know different things, and I can almost blame this on the bullshit education system in the United States. It's like to teach people to know how to actually do things in metal shop and wood shop or whatever. I never had those type of things in school, but I know them. But to teach people to know how to do things like that, that's a very important part of schooling, not social curriculum and all this other bull garbage. And you know what? To tell you the truth, a lot of things that require manual skills require mathematics, and they require English skills because you need to understand instructions and communicate back and forth to people. So it goes right back to the basics, you know. Mathematics and English are two of the biggest skills out there, which pretty much support everything else. So hands-on skills, but hands-on skills are extremely important. So I'm just kind of putting that like a happy medium. I don't really like people to go into like total survivalist mode or anything like that. But if you don't prepare, don't expect the emergency services to protect you. You know, they're probably getting worse and worse with all the politically correct bull garbage they have to put up with. You know, there's, I don't know what kind of parameters they go by to hire firefighters and police, but quite often I've seen enough of this where, you know, women cannot do the job in those professions, and here you got a population that's absolutely relying upon, in most cases, the emergency professions. It ain't gonna happen. So I say this: rely on yourself, number one. Prepare and do as much as you possibly can. And you know, it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive. You know, a lot of people, I can tell you this right now, if you handed the average person $2 billion, not million, $2 billion, the average person would probably blow it. Blow the money. I'm just saying is, you actually do have the money available to do these preparation things. A lot of people say they don't. But if they start looking around how they blow money, they'll find it. They'll find it. Like I said, I'm an accountant. There's a lot of ways you could find money. Just look at, you know, start enumerating what you actually spend, and you'll figure it out where the money can be taken from. It's pretty easy. A lot of times you have it. And these types of things will save your butt in the long run. So that's just my take on this, because if we actually go into a financial catastrophic collapse, which I don't think is going to happen for some, it might happen 5 years from now. I don't know what the hell is going to happen 5 years from now, but if it happens, you could think of it as Hurricane Sandy times 100. So who are you going to rely on? Yourself, number one. Number one. If you're prepared, everything will be cool.